Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video, I am going to be going over how you can convert your CC, your custom content, for your infant Sims. So this is something that I found out how to do on Tumblr, and I will link the creator who went over how to do this. But so yesterday I was finally getting to play around with infants, and something that I realized yesterday is that there is no CC for infants really, and that none of my custom content that I have for other life states transferred over, which makes sense because they are brand new. But I was kind of disappointed because I couldn't give my infants any cute CC, and I of course love custom content, so I was like, oh well, I guess I'll have to wait, which was fine because obviously they're like only a few days into being in the game. They're a very recent addition, so I understood why there wouldn't be any custom content yet, and I figure, there'll probably be a lot of stuff soon. But I found out that there is a short kind of fix in the meantime. I assume that we will see a lot of modders bringing custom content for infants, since modders just, are really good. There's a lot of really great modders in The Sims, and they do a lot of really great work for the community. So I'm sure that in no time, we will see hairs and clothes and all of that. Unfortunately, this fix for converting your pre-existing CC for your infants only will work well for certain categories. So as you can see in my game, I have added some things that I've added some custom content that I have for other ages, and I've been able to convert it. And I am going to go over how we do this, and I will let you know what you will need for it. So as far as I'm aware, the only thing that you're going to need is Sims 4 Studio. So you want to download that. So we're going to go over what you need to do in there, but you just have to edit the package files that you have in your mods folder. So when you download a thing of custom content, and then you go into Sims 4 Studio, and I'm going to show what we're going to do there. And I will also link the Tumblr post that sort of showed what to do. And the first way that the Tumblr post suggests is sort of replacing default versions of skin details, because that's the main thing we're going over, is how to add skin details. But I was also able, as you can probably see, I was able to add my default eyes back. For some reason, my default skins were already here. I didn't have to add these back. They just automatically came with default skins. But I was able to, I had to manually add. I added some skin details. I did this all last night. I was so excited. I felt very like smart doing this. I felt very cool, like being able to figure out how to do. When I got it to work, I was really excited. So I hope that this video is helpful, and I hope I'm able to explain it well. But yeah, so we will go over this more, but I was able to add some makeup and some eye overlays, and I was able to add my eye defaults back, and I can show you how I did all of that. All right, so now we are just going to be going over the process of how to actually add skin details, overlays, and things like that for your infants. Now, as I said at the start, this is not an ideal fix, or it's not necessarily the most easy one, but for now, this seems to be like the main or really only option that I have seen. And so hopefully I can explain it in as simple of a way as possible. Also, I find it's helpful actually seeing someone do it. So I kind of had to do a bit of guesswork and figuring this out, even though I did have some instructions. But so I actually reposted this on how to do this, and I will link it for you guys. But I reposted it on my Tumblr, and I also have found a few things for infants on my Tumblr. So if you want to go check me out on Tumblr, if you want to check out my Tumblr, I will be reblogging anything that I see, because I do reblog my CC finds on here, and I do have everything tagged. So like there's this stuff that was uploaded yesterday. There's not a lot, but as I see stuff, I will upload it. I will reblog it for you guys. So hopefully that'll help with you finding some stuff. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do for either version, so either way that we are going to add CC for our infants, no matter what path you take to be able to add, and you can do both of these, by the way, the two things that I've done to add custom content for my infants, but both of them will require Sims 4 Studio. So you want to go and download that. I will have that linked for you guys in the description. So basically this will let you be able to actually edit your CC, your custom content, and you will need this. So my version, I don't know if it matters what version you have, but I do have the newest version, which is 1.3.6.3. So that should be the most updated version. It shouldn't matter, I don't think, but if you're having trouble, maybe check that you have the newest version when you're trying to edit your CC. So the first thing that this creator here on Tumblr suggests is you want to go to your Sims 4 Studio. And so then what I did to be able to basically do an override is what we want to do. But the first thing that we need to do, before we are able to go into the cast category and do an override for our infant CC, and I have actually already done this, so I'm not going to redo it, but I can show you what I did to be able to get to this point. Okay, so what you want to start with is you can just open up something from your CC folder that you want to add as the default replacement, or not a default, or just add as an override for an existing skin detail. So I think what I did for one of the overlays or for one of the skin details is I think I took this honey skin blend one. Basically what you want to do for if you are trying to do the version where you add in a skin detail or add a skin overlay or whatever to replace something in your cast, what you want to do is, so you want to export this texture here. And so what I did is I just go to my downloads folder and I just export the texture, and I'll just name it, I don't know, honey. I already did all this, but I'm just gonna show you guys. And so then it actually will show up in your mods folder here, and it will just be, I'll show it to you guys, but it'll just be the image here. So you will be able to see it's basically just the skin overlay as it affects your game. And also it didn't mention this in the instructions, but I personally would also suggest, it might have mentioned it, I don't think I saw it, but I would also export the thumbnail. So there's the catalog thumbnail. So I would also export this. And you could call it honey thumbnail because I don't think it told me to do this, but when you go and try to add this as an override, you can replace the thumbnail. Otherwise, there won't be a thumbnail for your CC. So if you want to know that this is the honey skin blend, I would suggest doing that. So the first step, I'll go over it because I went over it a little bit fast. The first thing you want to do is you want to export. So make sure to export the texture. Then you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to export the thumbnail so you can easily add the thumbnail for your CC, you can do that. And that is all you need to do here, actually. And then you can go back to your main menu. And so then if you want to do the override, this option here, then you just go click override and then you go to cast. And so what this person suggested is to look up storkbite, because apparently that has, yeah, so here. So then you can click on one of these options for your infant. So that's basically, that'll do that. And then you can name it. So we could name it honey skin blend. And maybe just to make it more organized, you could say infant. So then it loads in, and obviously right now this is just this is the infant skin detail. So we haven't yet made it custom content yet. So, but what we would want to do is then at this point, then we actually go and import the stuff that we just exported. So then we go and we import the texture. So we just click import, and then we add the texture in, and then boom. So it's actually pretty easy doing this way. This is actually a pretty simple way to do it. And so this will basically override this skin detail. So, and that's another thing that I was mentioning though, right here, as you can see, it still has this thumbnail for the skin detail. If you want to know exactly what this item is, and you don't want to have to just guess, you can also go in and add this and add the custom thumbnail. So boom, and then that will show up as the overlay. And then this, doing it this way, it will replace this for infants. So this will show up for your infants, and then you would just want to save. I already have this package file saved in my game, so I'm not going to add this into my game, but here, this piece of CC right here, you would add to your mods folder. So I already have added this into my game, so I don't need to add that in. But so that is the first way that we are able to add custom content. And there are other skin details for infants, so you would just have to look through the catalog, and you can do the same process that you've done here to be able to override them. But that is the first way that we are able to do it. And that might be a good way if you just want like 1 or 2 items for your infants. But if you want to have a lot more, and let's say you want to be able to give them eye overlays, you want to be able to give them makeup, you want to be able to give them more like freckles, stuff like that, then it's going to be a little bit more of a process. So I don't fully understand this method. I've been messing around with it, and I hope that the way I'm explaining this is correct. It's also just like kind of guesswork for me. So if it's incorrect and it doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. This is the way I've been doing it, and it's been showing up in my game, but I'm not the best with this sort of thing. So I hope it does work for you. But so the process to do this, so once again, you want to go to your projects as you would if you were doing the original one. But this one, we are actually going to, we're going to stay in here. So, and we are going to change the package file itself. So first, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go to my genetics. I have my mods folder very organized, but we are going to go into here. And let's say we want to take a piece of CC, maybe we could do, maybe I'll do some blush. I might do one or two things just so we have a few things to look at. But let's say I go and get some blush. So maybe we'll do this Gopal's Me blush, and we will try to convert it. So I've already converted a few things, but this will hopefully add some more. So, okay, so what we want to do here is we don't really have to worry about any of this texture stuff. But as far as what I've been doing, and this has been working for me, I'm not sure if this is the most effective way to, but as you can see here, so to be able to have this show up for your infants, the only thing that you really need to do is, so if you see here, so these numbers, this value category right here under the cast part, I think you can pick any one. You just need to pick one of them, and then you go, oh, whoops, and then you go here, and then you want to just backspace on the last two and then add an FE. So what you want the value to be is 000030 FE. So that's what you want it to be. And then you can just like save really quick. And then when you go back here, when you go to this one that you just changed and selected, you want to, what I've been doing is you just go to the ages and gender flags, and then I just go in and I apply to all swatches. Also, something that I've noticed with a lot of CC is a lot of times a lot of items aren't tagged for hot and weather, so hot and cold weather. So this is different, but also you can also use this program to be able to change that. So I can just click hot and weather and cold, or hot weather and cold weather, to be able to have those show up in those categories. So then once again, just like make sure you save. And that's all you need to do for that. So it's really not as complicated. You just have to go in and once again, change the value. And then just to check, I'm going to make sure that all the values should now be changed to this value right here. So, and it should show up. You shouldn't have an issue. Sometimes it's been a little weird for me and I have to go back and make sure, but that is the method that I've done to be able to get my pre-existing custom content to show up. So this is a way that you can do it where you don't have to necessarily do any like weird workarounds with like overrides. So maybe next, another thing that maybe we want to do is I haven't really added a lot of eyes. So maybe we can go and look at some, maybe I'll add some other eyes into my game. So I think I have my eye mask category over here, and maybe I'll try to add one of my favorite eyes. I don't remember which one. I think I like the G15 from Gopal's Me. I think those are some pretty nice ones. I like all of Gopal's Me eyes, so they're all pretty good. Okay, so it took me over here. So yeah, so these are some pretty nice ones. Okay, so, and the eyes confuse me a little bit more, I'm not gonna lie, but we will persevere. Hopefully this actually works. So I'll just, go to a swatch. So let's see, maybe scroll to the bottom. There are a lot of swatches for this one, so it's a little bit, there's a lot more to look at, but I was still able to turn the eyes. I was still able to get the eyes to work, so that shouldn't be an issue. So, and we just want to do the same thing, backspace, F3, or FE, sorry, not F3. I don't know if I said F3 before. It's not F3, it's FE. So, and just save once again, and then we go back to this shade in particular. So, or to the swatch, sorry. So you want to go to the swatch that you changed things on, and then you just want to, apply to all swatches. Hopefully that will actually work and show up. And I'm just going to save myself the hassle and also apply to cold weather and everything. So now it should hopefully tag all ages. So yeah, and then hopefully these will actually show up in game 2. Okay, and so once you are actually in your game, we can test this. So hopefully if you added some stuff to your game, you can see now if it works. So I actually made this little toddler yesterday, or not toddler, sorry. They're an infant, they're not a toddler. I keep getting it mixed up. I'm gonna have to get used to that. But so I made this little infant yesterday for just testing purposes. And I think they are really cute. Oh, I just noticed they have like really weird shoes. That's fine. They have little like monster feet. That's kind of cute though. But so this is the sim that I used to test the CC with. So, and if you go to your skin overlays, obviously this stuff was all kind of here before, but you will have like options. So like I was able to add a lot of this stuff. So here's the thing that we actually made the default one. So this is the one that I made into a default, this honey skin blend. And if you add the thumbnail for it, it should show up like this, and you should have like the custom thumbnail. I like to do that just so I know what I'm adding to my sim. It gets kind of confusing if you don't know what item it is. So I also did that with a few other things on here. I think this might be a default replacement. I'm not sure. I know I did like 2 default replacements. So as you can see, I now have a few more skin details, definitely not a ton, but this is like a pretty good start. But this can be a pretty good start for that. So then if we go to our makeup, oh, okay, so my eyes did work. I was a little concerned that maybe I would add them incorrectly. So we have this one, although I don't know if all my swatches are here. Okay, so I think I might have not correctly changed all the swatches. So it only came up with 1 swatch. So I'm gonna actually have to go back and redo the swatches. That's why I said this can be a little annoying. Just like, I found it a little bit difficult. Like sometimes you have to make sure that you like apply it correctly to all the different swatches. So sometimes it can be a little bit tiring, but I think that this one did it correctly. So yeah, okay, so this one is the one that we added and that one did it correctly. So I'm gonna have to go back and make sure that I add all the right swatches. So I do have this one showing up in my game. So that at least showed up, but it didn't show up with all the swatches, which is a little annoying. But so that's why I said it's gonna take some like practicing and some like kind of, you know, I've just been opening up my game, testing it, closing it. It's a little bit tedious, but if you want to have some cute CC for your infants, it is definitely, I would say it's worth it. Okay, I actually wanted to jump back into here really quick. So this is later stage, and I was actually editing, and I felt like I should actually go in, and I didn't really explain why the eye mask didn't properly show up, and so I actually tried to add 2 different eye masks. So this is one of the ones that I tried to add. And the issue that I had, I think the mistake that I made when I was trying to add them and why it only came up with 1 swatch and the other one, one of the options didn't even show up at all, is that I picked the wrong cast part. So and then I applied the wrong swatch settings. So, I think the issue with these eyes in particular, it hasn't been an issue with a lot of other CC, but the issue is that there's a lot of swatches. As you can see, there's like 50 swatches just for these eyes alone. And a lot of the swatches look kind of similar to me. It's kind of hard to distinguish because it's kind of small. It's hard to sort of tell which eye color you're actually choosing. So this one, I actually had to go back. And as you can see, I had to go back and make sure that I applied the right setting, because if you apply the wrong setting, it will apply the wrong value. And so it didn't show up in my game because I had incorrectly put the value in. Well, I put the right value in. I just applied the wrong swatch settings to all of my swatches because I thought it was a different one than it actually was. So that shouldn't be a big issue, but just like make sure. That's why I said double check, but I don't think I double checked for this one. So that's now, just make sure that when you apply the swatch, go back and check some of the different cast parts and just see that like everything says FE. So far, so good. Yeah, so just check a few and they should all say that for the value, it should have the FE at the end. And if it does, then you should be good and it should show up in your game. So I wanted to explain that though, because I don't think I just said, oh, I messed up, which I don't think is as helpful. So I wanted to go over what I did wrong. So yeah, that should, if you do that, then it should hopefully show up in your game and you shouldn't have an issue. But I thought I'd say that just so you'd understand what I did incorrectly in that moment. Okay, but now as you can see, I actually managed to add the eyes correctly. So, and all the swatches are there. So you just need to double check and make sure that you applied the right value. So as long as you have that correct value, it should work and you shouldn't have an issue. So that's what I did incorrectly. So I thought I'd just come back and show you guys that, you know, this method does work. You just have to be a little extra careful. So yeah, so I thought I'd just show you guys that. So it will actually show up in your game and boom. But yeah, so that's kind of just a general overview of how to do this. I don't know if this was the best way of explaining it. I hope it was helpful. Oh, and another thing that I forgot to mention is I also have been able to add some presets so that you do the same thing that you would do for any of the other custom content. And actually, I probably should have shown you guys how to do that, but basically you would just do the same thing with the values. It's the same process with that. So a lot of these presets that I have are based on adult faces, so you might have to tweak a little bit just to get them to look right because, you know, maybe they don't necessarily suit an infant's face, but if you want to have some presets, that's another thing you can add. So for this, with this mod, or sorry, with the Sims 4 Studio, I've been able to add like makeup, skin details, presets, hair, sadly, and clothes aren't really something that you're able to convert, and I wouldn't attempt it because hair is obviously that's a lot harder to convert. So it will not look good in game if you try to convert it because it wouldn't be the right. Infants are obviously going to be a lot smaller than your toddlers or your children. So sadly, this is only going to really work for skin details, makeup, but at the very least, that's nice to have. Like, at least at the very least, if you have those CC items, that's pretty nice. So, but yeah, I hope this was helpful. And I will definitely do any updates if I learn like maybe a better method. I will link you guys to the Tumblr creator who kind of went over how to do this. And I will also link you guys just to my Tumblr in general if you want to keep up with maybe any infant CC that I will reblog. I try to have things pretty organized so you can actually like search by category or search by like, you know, terms and infants. If there's anything that I have from infants, I'll just tag it with infants for you guys. So yeah, but that is this video. It's hopefully kind of just a short little overview of how to do this. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't mod. I do mod my game, but I'm not like a modder or anything. This was just like a workaround that I was told how to do. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm not the best at this, but I hope I was able to show you guys kind of how to do this. And yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.